Yes, hello there, welcome back to my channel guys. Yes, today I have for you yet again another short video, and as you can see, the title of this video suggests what do I have in common with members of the Pathway cult, how I was like the SDA girl that dropped her studies for Adventism, or for her beliefs then, so to speak, right? No, this is a testimony of mine, so I'm not going to get biblical or anything of that sort. We're just talking in, so to speak, right? And I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. When I was in the SDA church, and especially when I got acquainted with Ellen G. White, and I started to read the things that she say and so forth, and I start to follow up many of the Ellenites that are in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And as a matter of fact, I used to follow the Blueprint ministry as well, even before it bloomed to the stage that it has bloomed to now. I used to go to their meetings and so forth at the Portmore Heart Academy. You Jamaicans will already know where the Portmore, right? And if you know Portmore, you know Portmore Heart Academy. So they used to meet there and so forth, and every now and again when they have their private meeting, usually they try to keep it hidden from the leaders and so forth, but word will send out to different members, and members of the SDA church from different churches would actually go and attend those meetings. At those meetings, you will hear much of Ellen G. White writings. You will hear how the church is basically in apostasy. They are not following all the things that Ellen White wrote. And you're gonna hear that the leaders, many of them are Jesuits, and many of them are basically serpents, and so to speak, planted in God's church. They are sleeping blind leaders and so forth. And what God is going to do is that He's going to shake them out eventually. They have a teaching that they call the shaking, right? Wherein I think I'm gonna have to do a special video on that, wherein members of the church, the SDA church, who are quote unquote deem lukewarm, are basically they're warming bench then, so to speak. God is going to shake them out gradually from out of the church, that only the true SDAs will actually remain, right? So in their meetings you will hear things like those, that God is going to shake them out eventually, and how great things are serious things are going to happen very soon. And when they say very soon, they mean like very soon, right? So that was the nature of their meetings. And then again, I used to hang out with other SDAs who are Ellenites as well, right? I used to be in groups with some of them and follow up on their Bible studies. If you guys prep me enough or provoke me enough, I usually don't call names, right? But if a Jamaican SDA prep me enough or provoke me enough, I just might call the names. Because one of them in particular, or two of them, are current pastors, I believe, of the SDA church. But during the time when I was in group with them, they weren't pastors as yet, right? So they used to have their little private teachings, and they advocate deep SDA doctrines, which sometimes you won't get in the church itself. Because as I would have stressed many times before, is that when it comes to the SDA church, there are 4 groups in the Seventh-day Adventist church, right? Go and check out my video, the 4 types of Adventists, the chameleon nature of the SDA church. There are 4 groups in the SDA church, and the group that I was among was the fundamentalists, right? Not the evangelicals or your traditional SDAs, right? Most of the SDA pastors either fall under the traditional or the evangelical side of Adventism. Just a minority of them are actually fundamentalists, like your Andrew Enriquez and oh gosh, I'm trying to remember other names. Dwayne Lemon, I think that's his name, just to name a few. Those are like the fundamentalists, but they are a minority, right? Now the problem with Adventism, right, is mostly the fundamentals that are in it. Because you see, the evangelicals, they are there and they know that Adventism is flawed, but because they love the community, many of them are in the Adventist church for different reasons. For the community, Some of them are, but they're born and growing it and they can't leave it so easy. Some of them benefit financially and other different ways being in the church, right? So this mixed multitude is what actually makes the Seventh-day Adventist Church problematic. But not to stray from the point, I was among the fundamentals in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, right? And so, you know, I used to study much Ellen White by myself and along with them, right? And because of that, I gradually became a hardcore SDs, because remember, you know, the fundamentals, you know, fundamentalist Adventists are hardcore SDAs, meaning that they will obey every single thing that is SDA. They'll follow, they won't doubt anything once it's SDA beliefs. Once it's coming from LNGY, it's finished, done. They won't question or doubt it, just know that they have to follow it. Those are the fundamentals. While evangelicals will pick and choose what is convenient for them, likewise the traditionals, which is rather hypocritical, the fundamentalists are true to their faith, right? And being true to their faith, they are going to want to try to adhere to everything that comes from LNG White, which is the approach that one of integrity would actually do, because it doesn't make sense you're in a church and yet still you don't believe the things that they believe, and then you're going to try and convert person to it while not believing some of the major things that they actually teach. It makes no sense and it's hypocritical. But being the person that I am, I don't do the hypocrisy. Not to say I'm perfect, but if I say I believe a thing, I'm going to want to carry out my faith. And as a result of carrying out my faith, I did something that was rather stupid then, so to speak. I had a wonderful job, right? I used to work in an auto parts industry. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, this is the first time I'm going to be so open. I'm going to tell you the auto parts place that I used to work. I used to work at Bert's Auto Parts in Jamaica, right? And if any of you know about Bert's, it's one of, if not the most prestigious auto parts company in Jamaica, right? That's where I used to work. And if you go there now and ask any one of them about someone who goes by the name of Mega, yeah, that was my code name. I kind of made my name at the place because I was an excellent worker there, right? One of value. You know, the type of worker which you basically won't, no employer would want to shove out or to kick to the curb like that, because I was of value. The nature of work that I did there, they used to call me detective then, so to speak. Whenever customers have problem getting there, find our persons have trouble locating items for customers, they used to call for me, the detective that is there to find it. I developed strategies and means of finding the parts, and I became very well at it. That most times persons would come to me, even workers would come to me for help me to locate this, and I always know how to find it. Discrepancies with quantities and mix up and so forth, the type of work I did to auditors depend on it, right? And being a prestigious auto parts place, you know, the pay was fairly well for a job that doesn't require any subjects. And you know, it probably you could earn just as much as one would earn at a call center. And you know, it's less stressful because call center work is very stressful. Imagine that, and you could earn just as much money there, right, at that place without the mental stress like what you would get from call center, right? So that's where I used to work, lot of benefits and so forth. And once I got so entrenched in Adventism and Ellen White, I basically, just to put it short, I gave up my job, right, for the sake of Adventism. So you see, that young lady who gave drop her studies, right, for the sake of her belief, I did just about the very same thing. And that is why most persons might be wondering what she's doing, right, and find it strange and saying she's all kind of negative things that, you know, that probably she don't have any sense, or wow, this is just brainwashing. And trust me, I completely understand where she's coming from, because I was there and I know the reason why she chose to drop her studies, and that reason I'm basically going to tell you right about now. Yes, so that reason I am basically going to tell you right about now, right? when I was in the Seventh-day Adventist church, most of you farmers would know that the end is always near. No, I mean, you're saying to me, Kismar, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. The Bible says that. Watch for the hour is, or how should I put it? I can't even remember the text. So basically, I'll put it on the screen. How the Bible depicts Jesus coming, it tells you that it's very near, right? Even at the door. No, they take it so literal that Jesus coming could very well be like tomorrow, right? And as I would have stated in one of my videos, right? I think when I was I did a video on them, right? Isolating themselves from the world. I think it's that video where I state that the normal Christian would basically live their life as if they don't have another tomorrow, but they would plan as though they have the next 50 years of life. That is how most Christians do it. But the thing with cults, right, you know, your doomsday cult, Walter Martin called it doomsday cult in his book Kingdom of the Cults, right, is that they approach the coming of Christ. How they approach it is that they try to live as though they don't have another tomorrow, and they plan as well as if they literally don't have another tomorrow. That's the thing with your quote-unquote doomsday cult. And SDA, it is like a doomsday cult. With most cults, it tends to have what do they call it now? An unhealthy emphasis on prophecy. See my video called 101 on eschatology. I talk about these things. This is one of the things with cults. In 2020, the world should have ended, and I believe there was a video. I'm going to try, by God's grace, I hope I find the video, right, where a Seventh-day Adventist, if I find the video, I'll put it in the comment section, where in 2020 the world should have ended then. Because the thing with Adventists, if you ask any former SDAs who have been out for 10, 20 years, they'll tell you every single president that arose or take the presidency of the United States of America, the end is supposed to come through them. I only know about Obama because I was in it during that time. During Obama's presidency, that was the time when I was basically invested in Adventism. So I cannot speak beyond that. But if you ask many former SDAs, they'll tell you, even before Obama, they have been saying the same thing. But talking about my experience, through Obama, when I was in there, honest to God, I thought that the end of days was basically going to come through Obama. Obama has finished his tenure and succeeded by Donald Trump. They say basically the same thing about Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump finished his tenure. Biden is now on the scene, and you can rest assured they are saying the same thing about Biden. Every other president that come on the scene, they're basically going to say the same thing, and the cycle is going to go on and on and on. And it is due to this nature why the young lady dropped her studies, because after all, it makes no sense I do this now. The end is so close, and how can I use this degree, right, to finish such a short work? We have such a short amount of time, and the work is so great. Why should I use my time to go through all that studies and so forth, right? When I should be going to do the Lord's work, to warn the people, because the end, it is so very near. This was the same mentality that I had when I was in it, right? And this is one of the reasons why I myself didn't even take education very seriously, because I won't have the time to go and do a 4-year degree. Best believe it or not, and as God live it, I'm so sorry that I didn't bring my Bible so that I could probably swear over it or take an oath. Because I know the trolls, will say I'm lying, and I'm just saying these things because I want to shade the Seventh-day Adventist Church. They would basically deny or invalidate my experience just in order to troll me and say that I'm just trying to shade the Seventh-day Adventist Church. But as God live it, I kid you not, I lie not. It was that mentality that I had. As a matter of fact, with many of my colleagues in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Ellenites, this was one of the things that we used to discuss. We should be learning trades, and all these type of things. Why go and do degree and so forth? Why waste that time when you won't even need it? And the end, at the end is going to be so near. So near. 5 years has elapsed since in 2015 when I recommit. Right? If I had probably done a degree, I would be smiling right now. See, Jesus doesn't come yet, and I could use my degree and make more money. Yes, guys, this young lady is going to watch as time progresses. She only needed 2 more years, to finish up her degree, right? To basically get certified as a lawyer. She only needs 2 more years, right? She's going to watch as 2, 3, 4, 5 years pass, and then if it is that she might get an awakening, she may say to herself, then if so many years has passed, it would have been better then for me to just finish the 2 year and done. And then after I finish, I can then do the work of the Lord. Right? She's not thinking like that, But I guarantee you that if 3 years will pass, and let's say that God open her eyes, trust me, she's going to be in bitter regrets. We all go through this, most of us as former SDAs, You go through an emotional hurt and a period of anger and bitterness when you realize the lies. This is what is going to happen to her when she finally, if she actually wake up, that is. And this is one of the things that cults actually cause. If you follow up on the Kevin Smith case, it's the same thing with them. Many of them, they're angry, hurt, right? And some of them, they have difficulty to trust clergymen and so forth. This is the aftermath of cults that persons face when they actually leave cults. When you realize the lies afterwards and how much of your time and money that you devote to it, right? And it all turns out to be nothing but a lie. It is hard to shake off, and this is one of the things that make many persons, after they leave cult, they don't have nothing to do with religion after that. Right? Because only in a cult you're going to find someone say they're going to drop their studies because they have to do the work of the Lord. You don't find this amongst most Christian churches, only in cults. And just like the Kevin Smith persons, followers who even know, right, they're still trying to defend him, many of them. When I was in the church, if they even tell me anything that Ellen G. White was a false prophet, or I said that the church is a cult, I would reject it, right, and I would basically cut you off then, so to speak, or distance myself from you. I would have none of it. That was how I was when I was in the Seventh-day Adventist church. You see, just like how the father was pleading with the young lady not to leave, not to drop her studies, it is so my mother and even my supervisor, right? My supervisor is there at Birth Starter Parts now. They'll tell you they were pleading with me, right? To not to leave the job and so forth. Even though I was technically, I think I was fired, but in essence, I was the one who caused it on myself. Right? I don't want to get into the details, but lots of things happen, and to this day now, I am in deep regret. God even knows how sorry I am. I even got the Ministry of Labor involved, The Ministry of Labor involved. I mean, I feel so bad that I did this to even my own company, and it was not justifiable. But when I did it, I was acting upon my faith. I thought I was doing the right thing, because after all, this is what God wants. This is how the brainwashed mind, who doesn't know the word of God for themselves, this is how they reason. So in the young lady mind, she's thinking that this is what God wants. This is what the Lord would have me to do. You understand? I'm sharing my experience, showing you how much I was like the young lady, because I was dieharded just like her. A dieharded SDA. Right? And just like the members of the Kevin Smith cult, I was so loyal that even when the red flags are there, when I should have seen certain things from early, I should have questioned certain things from early, I didn't do none of that. Just like the Kevin Smith cult. I'll admit that the red flags, they are not so daring, right? The thing is, when you're brainwashed by a cult, you can't think critically. I stress this over and over again. that you can't think critically. It's only when you have been delivered and you're out, that's the time when you're going to look and see and say, Jesus, what I did was just so foolish. But when you're in it, you won't be able to see. So right now, you know, they can't see certain things that they should see, you know. SDAs and anyone that is in the cult. If you are, when Kevin Smith members was interviewed, it is after everything took place and they start to say to themselves, some of them whose eyes are now open, say like, man, we were really brainwashed. Right? But while they were in it, they couldn't realize it. You know, I did say some of their members, you know, because some of them, they still find it hard to come to terms that their leader is a phony. Because the thing with cults, you know, when some persons might wake up, for some, it's not so easy for them to actually see. It takes more time than it would with average persons. Right, guys? But I say all these things for you guys to understand that when persons are in a cult and you see them do foolish things, it is not for you to say that they are stupid, because I hear persons say, the Kevin Smith members, they are so stupid and they don't have any sense and so forth. In the same way, oh, my mother say, oh, you can't be somebody that have any sense. Sometimes she say I'm basically stupid because of what I did, you know, while I was in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. People say the same thing about the SDA girl who dropped her studies. Cult members, they are not stupid, and this is the thing that you need to get into your mind. They are not stupid, they are brainwashed. When a person is brainwashed, they'll do irrational and they'll basically do dumb things. Remember, you know, your mind is not your own, you know. When you're in a cult, you know, your mind is being controlled, and so to speak. You can't think for yourself, right? And so as a result, you will do dumb things that if you had your own mind and you were thinking, likely you wouldn't do the things that you did. Right? Likely you wouldn't do the things that you did. But this is the nature of cults, guys. They are very dangerous, right? Time would fail me to tell you how dangerous cults are. They can wreck you emotionally, right? Some of them, they can wreck you physically too because of abuse, physical and sexual abuse. They wreck you emotionally. They can damage you mentally, financially too as well. You don't want to be a part of a cult. They can damage you spiritually too as well. Yeah? I did say that a lot of persons who come out of cult, they either turn atheists and finish with Christianity. They want to have nothing to do with it. Most persons who leave the Seventh-day Adventist Church, they end up turn atheists. They don't go back to church, none at all. Likewise with every cult, Jehovah's Witness and so on. They are very dangerous, guys. Very dangerous. But with that being said, I think I've said enough. Tomorrow I'll have a video where later I have 2 more videos to put out. One where I show you how you can know when a so-called prophet, apostle, or teacher of the word is genuine or false. And I have another video to do where what's the title of it again? Oh yes, the title was First Fruits. I have those 2 videos coming up which I hope to put out before the weekend. So look forward to it. That being said, I end this video. If you enjoy it, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Bye bye now.